All right, good morning, e-learners.
Hi, e-learners.
There's nobody on yet.
Oh, that's kind of sad, though.
Usually, Sierra had sent me an email saying that she wasn't going to be here today, but she watches the video, so she will eventually. All right, let's grade this sucker then. Oh, Sierra is on. She told me she wasn't going to be here. She couldn't resist an algebra class. How's that?
Yeah, that's for sure.
Who?
I'm with you. I thought you said you weren't going to be here today, Sierra.
No, that was probably Haley, not me.
Oh, okay. I thought it was you.
No, I'm here. The only one.
Okay.
It's just Cornelius.
All right, here we go.
Hi, Josie.
Hey, Julie, could you close the door for me, please? Thank you, Ron. All right, here we go. Ready? Now, just remember, these were kind of like weak because some of these were painfully obvious, and some of them weren't so much. So they're not all like this. The first couple they lined them up vertically, which was a pain in the butt, yes? So when they line them up vertically and you follow PEMDAS, which ones must you do first? You listening?
Yes, sir.
This is like question number 6. I think that's the only one. If they line them up vertically, they had 4 numbers there. Following PEMDAS, what must you do? They line them up vertically. You got to go top to bottom. Right? You can't do what you do. Here's what I mean. If I gave you 7, 8, 9, and 10 and asked you to add them, they're all positive. You go 0 plus 9 plus 8 plus 7, right? You can't do that when there's a mixture of positive and negatives. You'd have to go this one plus this one, and that answer plus this one, and that answer plus this one. It's painful. I'm not sure why they did that on number 6, but they did. And if you got one wrong, it's probably number 6. All right. Number 2 is what? Negative 11. Number 4 is negative 14. Number 6, the one you might have gotten wrong, is 88. You did not do it vertically from top to bottom. You probably got that one wrong. All right. Then it's back to the more traditional method, left and right. All right. Number 8 is 8. Number 10 is negative 91. Number 12 is negative 2. Number 14 is negative 13. Number 16 is negative 98. Fractions. But the nice thing is they gave you common denominators. Okay? And then when you reduce the fraction, you got a whole number out, or an integer out of it, so it's a little bit nicer. 18 is negative 3. 20, you did not get a nice friendly thing, but they did give you common denominators. 20 is negative 5 1/5. If you put negative 26 over 5, same answer. Mixed number or improper fraction, either one. We're in Algebra 1 now. All fractions must be reduced, but we are okay with improper fractions. You don't need to change improper fractions to mixed numbers, unless you want to. 22 is 2. 24 is, well, you can't do anything with the y. So the answer is negative y minus 18, right? If you put negative y plus negative 18, that's the same answer. If you put negative 18 minus y, that's the same answer. If you put negative 18 plus negative y, oh boy, that's a lot of possible answers. All the ones I just called out are all possible answers. Number 26, either 4b minus 8, or 4b plus negative 8, or negative 8 plus 4b. Those are your possible answers. And 30, 4x minus 4, or 4x plus negative 4, or negative 4 plus 4x. Those are the possible answers. Yeah? 28 was 2y plus 6. Did I not call 28? Sorry. 2y plus 6, or 6 plus 2y, and 2 was negative 11. All right. Make sure your names are on them. Rowan's coming around to grab that.
Water.
The one with the, yeah. Yours does not. There should be one with, it says Algebra-1. Sorry, Ron, here it is.
Sorry.
Yes, Julie.
Okay, give me a no, serious. What is it? How why does everybody look? Really, everybody hates me. You will eventually. Like everyone likes me. You hated my guts at the time.
You don't give it two. This is what was on the paper. Isn't that what it says here?
Yeah, that time we were doing something.
What's today? When? Yesterday was Tuesday. It says page 55. Copy it. They were on the wrong page. You got some of them right. They got them all wrong. They were on the wrong page. Okay. Somehow, some people in class, I'll tell you why I know you did that is because you assumed that it would be the next section. We did not do, listening, we did not do 2.2, we did 2.3 yesterday. We skipped 2.2. 2.2 was putting things on a number line, and I choose not to teach that.
Oh, but I wanted to do that.
Well, this is, in pre-algebra, we do that, but not in Algebra 1. Chris, what? Well, just make sure I get it before the end of the day, or you're going to see me after school today. After school. All right, Julie and company. Let's see if you can copy it down correct today. There's your homework. Copy homework. Copy down. Oh, sorry. Thank you. We have all the homework. All right. Hey, Haley, Julie, I'll just turn in what you have. I'll give you credit for it. Don't sweat it.
What about Aiden?
I just told Aiden. All right. Tristan, do you have this copy down?
Yes. Actually, yeah.
Okay. Now, the previous lesson, which was how do you add integers, I have no issues with it. People get it. I'm going to teach you from the book the method they show you. Some of you already have some shortcut methods when we do subtraction. Right? You are perfectly fine to use a shortcut method if you know what you're doing. This class is more intended for the people that still haven't settled in their brain how do you handle subtraction with integers, positive, negative numbers. Okay? So I'm going to show you straight up what the rules of math say you're supposed to do. But for those of you that are very familiar with negative numbers and subtraction, you do know that there's a shortcut method. Okay? So I'm not going to show you that until the very end. I'm going to show you the correct method of interpretation of subtraction of integers, positive and negative numbers. We okay? All right. So yesterday we did adding real numbers. Today we're going to do subtracting real numbers. And remember, we're going to be dealing with the integers. The integers are made up of the natural numbers, 1, 2, 3, the counting numbers. They're opposites, that's the negative numbers.
Mike's on.
Yeah.
Mike's on.
And the
Yes.
Sierra, hit the mute button. Okay, so yesterday we did addition. Today we do subtraction. Thank you. All right, what is subtraction? This is subtraction.
It's just wow.
Why you walk
So
Those
the
cats
little
did nothing.
raccoon took a grouping, and from the grouping, he took a quantity and ran away with it. That's what subtraction is. From a grouping, you take away a certain number from the original grouping. Now, yesterday I showed you addition with the coin method. You can do subtraction with the coin method. No, we're not going to do the coin method today. But it's a method to show you this. So 6 minus 4, we already know the answer is, hopefully, 2. Right? So with the coin method, stay with me, with the coin method, well, the coin method is a method of grouping with coins, positive and negative coins. So the first number is what? So I need how many positive coins? Okay. The second number says minus 4. That's negative 4. So we need 4 negative coins. So here's my 6 positive. Here's my 4 negative. It's just like what the raccoon did with grouping. 1 minus 1 is, 1 minus 1 is, 1 minus 1 is, so you're left with what? 2 positive coins. Great. I just made a complicated way of solving a simple problem. But the coin method points out that subtraction is actually the same as what we did yesterday. What did we do yesterday? We did adding yesterday. It turns out the subtraction is really adding. Like, well, that's not right. Yes, it is true. Subtraction is really adding, except we got to add one extra thing to it. Subtraction, right? This is subtraction clearly, is the same as adding the opposite. The opposite of 4 is what? Negative 4. So subtraction is the same as, go back, subtraction is the same as adding. Take the 6, I'm going to add it, not to 4, I'm going to add it to, and that is what I did right there with the coins. So this is what subtraction is. Subtraction is not subtraction as you think about it. Subtraction is really addition. But you're not adding 4, you're adding the opposite of 4, negative 4. Why does this make our life easy? Because we don't need rules for subtraction. We only need rules for, so you can turn any subtraction problem into an addition problem. We only have 2 rules for addition, same signs or different signs. So we don't need extra rules for subtraction, we only need the addition rules. But in your head, this is the shortcut stuff. But in your head, you got to turn all subtraction problems into addition problems. And then follow the rules for addition. Okay? We say subtraction is the same as adding the opposite. Subtraction is the same as adding the opposite. Well, I know the rule for this. Same or different signs? Same or different signs? Different signs. Does that mean add or subtract? Big minus small. 6 minus 4 gives you 2. Do we have more positives or more negatives? That's why the answer, by the way, is 2. Okay? So write this down, box 1. Box 1, write this down. Subtraction is the same as adding the opposite. This is what allows us, right, Tristan? This is what allows us to not have more rules. If subtraction is the same as adding the opposite, then all I need is the addition rules. That's what we did yesterday in class and what you did last night for homework. Well, at least most of you. They actually did homework just on a different page. I'm sure that what you did was, I mean, we can look at the book and see if you got it right. You did page 52. Okay, then you must have done, if you did and all your answers are wrong, then we got to have another conversation. But Julie clearly did page 52. All right, so this is the controversial statement for box 1. It says what you're, now listen carefully what I'm saying here. Last year I made you do this. Last year you took all your subtraction problems and you rewrote them. You did this for, I don't know, a couple lessons, and then all of a sudden your brain started saying, wait a minute, there's a shortcut method. So even though today I'm going to show you this step, yeah, there is a shortcut method. And I'll talk about that at the end of class. But if you want to know the official way of doing subtraction, it's addition. You add the opposite. So you rewrite all subtraction problems as addition problems. And then you follow the addition rules. But there is a shortcut method.
Mr. Saturday,
All right. Yeah.
what happens if you're minusing or subtracting a negative?
Well, that's what I'm saying. How about you hold that question to the end and then I'll address it. Okay. So we only need the two rules from yesterday. What were the two rules from yesterday for addition? What were the two rules?
Same signs and opposites.
Same signs or opposites or difference, right? So same sign, that means when both numbers are positive or both numbers are negative. For instance, 4 plus 2, both numbers are net positive. Or negative 4 plus negative 2, both numbers are negative. They have the rule for the same signs, and we have the rule for different or opposite signs, where the first one is positive, the second one's negative, or vice versa. For instance, positive plus a negative, or a negative plus a positive. Okay? So, what is the rule for same signs? What do? Shortcut method.
Subtract, add,
If the signs are the same, what do we do with the numbers?
add.
Add those suckers up. We use the sign of whatever they were, either positive or negative. What's the rule for different or opposite signs?
Subtract.
Subtract. Big minus small. Use the sign of whatever you had the most of. Okay? Works great for addition. For subtraction, however, we got to change subtraction to addition. So if you need to write down those rules, these are just what you wrote down yesterday. These are the rules, the two rules for same signs or different or opposite signs. I keep going different, and then sometimes I write opposite. So I apologize. I should be more consistent. These are the shortcut rules. Same signs, just add the numbers. Use the original sign. If you're adding positive, the answer is positive. Adding negative, the answer is negative. That's for same signs. For different signs, it's just big minus small, and then whichever one you had the most of. Hey, I got more negatives, the answer is negative. I got more positive, the answer is positive. I said, if you need to write this down, it's the same thing we wrote down yesterday. So there's only two rules, because we're going to turn subtraction to addition. We okay? This will still be up here, just small text. Okay. Rules for subtraction. I said there is no subtraction, there's only addition. So here's how it's done officially. You ready? There is no subtraction. There's only addition. So you need to change this to addition. So in other words, you rewrite this as not subtraction, you rewrite this as addition. That means 7 plus. Well, what's the opposite of 2?
Negative 2.
See what I did? Same or different signs. So what's the rule? Big minus small. 7 minus 2 is more positives, more negatives. That's why the answer is 5. There is no subtraction. There's only addition. So I literally erase the subtraction symbol. I write 3 plus. What's the opposite of 8? Okay, same or different signs. Okay, that means big minus subtract, big minus small. 8 minus 3. More negatives, more positives. That's why the answer is negative 5. Stop me if I'm going too quick. There is no subtraction.
Only addition.
That stays. It's negative 4. There is no subtraction. It's not there. We rewrite the first number, change it to addition. What's the opposite of 20? Same or different signs. Same sign means what? Add or subtract? Add the two numbers. 24, but we were adding negative, so the answer is negative 24.
Why are we doing this? It's just so much easier to subtract.
Well, we didn't subtract here, we added.
Well, I know, but like, what's the purpose?
Okay, do you remember the build-up of the speech? What did I say? I said, I'm showing you the official way of doing subtraction. At the end, there is a shortcut method, but we just don't say, hey, trust me, this is true, right? Yes? Well, we're going to go through every single possibility by the end of the class. Every single possibility. Okay? So, let's do box 3 together. Here we go. 17 minus 10. Do we need any rules for that?
Nope.
The answer better be 7. Let's see if it works. There is no subtraction. There's only addition. 17 plus, what's the opposite of 10?
Negative 10.
Same or different signs? That means subtract. Big minus small gives me more negatives or more positives. Well, luckily we got to 7. No, I'm not saying that if you see 17 minus 10, you need to do that work. But what I'm saying is, if these are rules, we better get to the right answer. Oh, by the way, we got to the right answer following the rules. All right. There is no subtraction. There's only addition. So this is 13 plus. The opposite of 18 is negative 18. Same or different signs?
Different.
So that means add or subtract. Big minus small gives me more negatives, more positives. That's why it's negative 5. Julie, because there's more negatives than positives. Julie, there is no subtraction. There's only addition. So this is negative 12 plus, what's the opposite of 18? Same or different signs? Add or subtract? 12 plus 18 is 30. The answer is, it works every time. It works every time. Some of you, and I'm going to erase everything, and we'll talk about shortcutting. Some of you are unhappy with that because most people, once they have a solid knowledge of positive and negatives and adding, subtracting, don't do anything of what I just said. Well, clearly everyone already knows the answer to that. So you tell me, what do you do? What do you do for the middle one?
The middle one, I just do 18 minus 13.
Well, how did you know to do that?
Because, I don't know.
Okay, so that's a problem right there. Oh, by the way, she's going to get the right answer, and she did say it correctly. But if you can't explain to me, why is this 18 minus 13, when it literally says 13 minus 18, we got a problem. She's right, by the way. This one is 18 minus 13. The question is why? Well, why? Because there is no subtraction. There's only addition. So that, oh, this is going to take forever.
There is no subtraction.
So when you write it as subtraction is the same as adding the opposite, now we see why it's 18 minus 13, and then use the sign of the largest. But if you can't tell me in your brain how you knew it was really 18 minus 13, we got a problem. I mean, she was already going to tell me the answer was negative 5. Yes, Josie? But she doesn't know why it was negative 5. Yes?
You have to do 13 plus the negative 18.
Great. That's the reason why. All right. How do we know the answer to this one? You guys are the ones that want to use a shortcut method. How do we know that the answer is negative, what was it, negative 40? 30? Why do we know it's negative 30?
You just add them, and then you add.
So my belief is that you all have your own set of rules, like you kind of just made them up. And that through the process of doing a bunch of these in the past, you kind of like got it wrong a bunch of times, and then you saw the answer, like, okay, this is the one that we add, this is the one that we subtract. But why? If that's not clear in your brain, we're going to have issues. If it's clear in your brain, well, yeah, this one I subtract, this one I add. You want me to tell you what you're really doing? You ready? You're using the two-finger method. Here's the two-finger method. You ready? Oh, let me get back to blank screen. Here's the two-finger method. You take your two fingers. This is what you're really doing. You're touching this and you're touching this. Same or different signs? That's why you subtract. Two-finger method. You're touching this and you're touching that. Same or different? That's why you're subtracting. Two fingers. Same or different? That's why you're adding. That's what you guys are doing. Oh, by the way, that's what I do as well, too. Until there's Julie's question, which is what happens if there's double negatives, right? Okay, so I showed you the book method, the true method, this is what it's based upon fact, and the, I don't know what you want to call it, the two-finger method. Who did I very confuse?
Everyone.
Oh, no, you already knew what the answer was. I'm just claiming that that's the method that you're doing. So, let's move on. We okay to move on from box 4? These are just 3 more practice problems from that. Okay, let's use the two-finger method. Tristan, same or different?
Same.
Because this is negative and that's negative. Like I'm literally touching 2 negatives with my fingers right now. So different means add or subtract. Subtract those numbers.
Three?
More positives, more negatives.
Negative. 7 positive, sorry.
So the answer is 3.
Yeah.
Tristan, same or different?
Different.
So add or subtract?
Subtract.
You just said both answers. Which one?
Subtract.
Subtract. So 50 minus 31 is 19. More negatives, more positives. So negative 19. Kaylee, same or different? That means add or subtract. 17 and 26 are what? 43? Negative or positive? Okay. Clearly you have this, and I see a bunch of people shaking their head. The rule says that we're not supposed to do any of that. The rule says that we're supposed to change subtraction to addition, add the opposite. The rule says we're supposed to change subtraction to addition, add the opposite. The rule says we're supposed to change subtraction to addition, add the opposite. Nobody follows the rules. Everybody does what I just told you, myself included. Why? Well, you had a pre-algebra teacher that taught you the rules, or you paid no attention to your teacher, got a bunch of them wrong. This is me. Paid no attention to your teacher, kept getting them wrong. You're like, why am I getting them wrong? And then in your brain, I'm thinking Josie did the same thing. In your brain, you're kind of like, okay, I kind of see the pattern, right? I literally did the same thing. I told you this last year, those of you who had it. I figured this out in 8th grade. I was like, I'm not listening to teacher. I don't know what I'm doing. And I started getting them wrong. And then I was like, wait, why am I getting them wrong? And then I saw a pattern, and I made up my own rules. All right. So is that it? No, we got the Julie question, right, Julie? All right. Okay. Julie's question is this sucker right here, right? We got whole bunches of negatives. So who can? Okay, let me show you the official reason. Here's the official. Is there subtraction?
Yes.
There's no subtraction.
There's no subtraction. There's only
Addition.
So I need to erase the subtraction. Write 7 plus. What's the opposite of negative 2? So the answer is
Wait, 8. What?
9.
9.
2. No, 8.
There is no subtraction. There's only.
Addition.
So I get rid of that subtraction. I write 3 plus. What's the opposite of negative 8? So the answer is. There is no subtraction. There's only.
Addition.
So I get rid of that. I write negative 4 plus.
20.
The opposite. Same or different signs.
Different.
So that means add or subtract. 20 minus 4 is.
Negative.
16.
More positives, more negatives. So that's why the answer is 16. Okay, there's the official. We'll do it one more time. Julie, this was your question. What do you do? I gave you the official one. Now what do you do? Well, how do you know this answer is 9? Where in the world do they get 9 from? By the way, the answer here is 9. How do you know the answer is 9? What are you doing in your head? I understand that, yes, and that is the correct answer, but I'm saying, how in the world did you turn this into addition? You better have a rule in your head, because otherwise it sounds like you're saying, well, sometimes I add, sometimes I subtract, I'm not sure when, but you're like, well, I know to add this, but why? And then I'll tell you why in a second. By the way, she's right, it is 9, right? You all agree it's 9? What's the answer here? 11. What's the answer here? 16. We got to have some better rules than, I don't know, I just kind of magically come up with these numbers, which is where Julie's at right now. She just magically came up with the answer's 9. So we better have some rules. If you don't want to use my rules, you guys better have some rules. Anybody want to volunteer what the rule is? Landon, why is this 9? What's your rule?
I usually, if I see 2 subtraction next to each other, I cancel it and turn the negative into a positive.
That's what I think you're doing, Julie. Here's what you're doing. Last year, you learned that a negative times a negative is a. So what, and this is what everyone's doing. What they do in their brain is like, if I see 2 negative signs next to each other, they magically turn into a plus. Oh, by the way, it's true. But it's not because it's a negative. This isn't a negative times a negative, right? It's because subtraction is the same as adding the opposite. It's just a coincidence that when 2 negatives are next to each other, it does turn into 1 plus. So once again, what am I getting at? You got to have a set of rules that are true. If you see 2 negatives next to each other, you can replace both of them with one what? 1 positive. And you're like, well, why is he making a big deal? I already knew the answer was 9 and 11. Well, you got to have consistent rules. If you don't want to follow the official rules, you better have consistent rules for yourself. This is the one that typically gives people problems. Okay, Landon said two negatives next to each other. We're not talking about this negative and this negative. We're talking about these two negatives. He said, whenever I see two negatives together, I just erase them and put one plus. And Julie agreed. That's what she's doing as well, too. That's true. Okay? But the reason behind it is because subtraction is the same as adding the opposite. That's why, that's what allows you to say that two negatives turn into a positive. It's not because it's a negative times a negative. Okay. By the way, who right from the very start didn't need anything that I've said today to get to the answer? Okay. Well, that's good. Because your homework tonight is to do this, and I'm not a stickler on making you change subtraction to addition. Okay. All right. Hey, I see two minus signs next to each other. That means this answer is 17 plus 10, which is 27. Hey, I see two negative signs next to each other. So that means 13 plus 18. Hey, that's what, 31? I see two negatives, so just these two, not this one, just these two negatives turn into one positive. So that's negative 12 plus 18. Now do we have same or different signs? Okay, so that's 18 minus 12, which is more positives, more negatives. But if you go back to the original problem, you're going to think that there's more negatives than well, they're all negatives. It can lead you astray. So for these right here, I would certainly, if you're not really comfortable with this, force yourself to rewrite this. Let me catch up. Force yourself to write this as subtraction is the same as adding the opposite. Once this is written, then I'm with you. I think you can, hey, two-finger method. Opposite signs. That means subtract, big minus small. 18 minus 12 is 6. There's more positives than negatives. We okay?
Yep.
Yes.
So I didn't see it on here, but they have like word problems.
They do.
So I have a question on that.
We'll get there at the end. Okay, box number 6. Okay, let's skip that one and let's do the hardest one. That's when everything is negative. When everything is negative, Aiden, walk me through this one. It's not on your paper. What are we going to do?
-7.
Keep talking.
Plus 2.
All right, so the first thing he said was he saw two negatives next to each other. He's just going to make that as -7 plus 2. I like that. I like the fact that you said that now you can visually see it. Two fingers, same or different? Add or subtract? Different is subtract. Same as add. So subtract these two numbers. More negatives, more positives. Chris, we're doing this one. Tell me what you're thinking.
It's addition.
Okay, meaning this one or these two?
Those two.
Okay, so subtraction is the same as adding the opposite. Now, same or different? So that means add or subtract. 8 minus 3. Okay, more negatives, more positives.
More positive.
So therefore the answer is, remember the conversation we had after school?
Yes.
What did I tell you? I said, you don't have any problems with steps, it's just the math part, right? Unfortunately, you're in the math class. But you got the steps, you're all over this. All right, Piper, you're up.
So we're gonna add.
Okay, so we're gonna add. Same or different signs?
Different.
So add or subtract.
Subtract.
So this is 20 minus 4, which is? Same comment I made about Chris. Neither one of you, I mean, you tore through this problem until we got to 20 minus 4. So I'm just going to tell you, both of you, continue your work. We'll get to the other part. 20 minus 4 is 16. More negatives, more positives.
More positive.
So the answer is?
Positive.
Perfect. I haven't seen it. It's not the seat you were in. Okay. Do we need to continue or we got this?
We got it.
All right. There's no one in this room that I saw visually with my eyeballs, right, that I'm worried about. But you still have to do the math to get an A, right? I mean, like, if you can tell, okay, I know I have to subtract, and you screw that up, you're not getting an A. Show me you know what you're doing. And then I caution, we'll call this the, I've been picking on Ryland too much. We'll pick on Josie today. We'll call this the Josie rule. The Josie rule is this. If all you write is the answer is 6, and you start from here, like you just say, well, the answer is 6. Get it right, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt that you did it in your head. If you get it wrong, guess what?
No benefit of the doubt.
No benefit of the doubt. It's 100% wrong, like no partial credit. When I do problems like this on the test, this is like 4 points. 1 point for making a valiant effort to get to the answer. 2 points for, okay, you knew that this was addition or subtraction, whichever one that one is, but you just screwed it up. 3 points if you did everything right except one little tiny thing. Hey, you got the answer was 6, but you forgot it was -6 or +6. 4 points, you get it correctly. But if all you have is an answer and it's wrong, it's -4. So the Josie rule says this, right? Do not assume that you got it right. Show me your work. If you're like, well, yeah, but my work is I just look at it and I got the answer in your head, it's not going to be something simple like 1 + 1. Right? This is not a 1 + 1. Right? You can at least write this step right here. That's not that hard. Show me that you write this down, and you do something silly, right? The answer is -6. At least I know you subtracted, right? If you tell me the answer is 30, then I know you don't know what you're doing because you added the 2 numbers. But if you subtract this, and you say the answer is 6 or -6, then I know that you did every step right. You get -6, you just tacked on a negative when it's positive. Questions on anything I've done today? By the way, here's the answers to box 8.
No.
Questions? All right. We finished with, wait, we got to do one more thing. What was the one thing that we did for addition?
Practice?
No, more than 2 numbers at once.
Oh, okay.
So what's the technique? Nathan? First one on the left first.
First one. Well, I don't. Okay.
Don't get them confused. So what do I do first? 4 and the 2, 7 and the 4, and 7 and the 2? Or does it make a difference?
5, 4, and 2.
Okay, it will get it wrong if you do not follow PEMDAS. PEMDAS says to do all addition and subtraction from left to right.
Yeah.
So I take my magic hand and I cover that up.
Go ahead.
What's the answer? Okay, so he writes -11, correct answer, good job. Same signs, that means add. So he writes -11, let me catch up. And then he uncovers this and it says -2. Okay? All right, what do we write? It's not going to be -13.
Wait, it's not.
If you want to follow the method that the book teaches, and the official method is, there is no subtraction. There is only, so this is -11 plus. The opposite of -2 is, okay,
So
same or different signs.
different.
So therefore we,
No. Subtract.
so therefore the answer is,
9. No. My God. Yes.
come on,
-9.
-9. All right. So the key point here is, remember, we must go from left to right. We must go from left to right. Are you going to make a mistake on these? These can get messy because homework, how many did they give you to subtract at once? What was it? Did they give you more than 3?
No. Yeah.
They give you 4? Okay. So it's even more complicated than this one. All right, 5 of them. Oh my gosh. Rowan, do this one. Can't hear if you guys are talking. What? I'm going to go from left to right. The first thing you're going to do is that. Same or different signs. So does that mean add or subtract? So add those 2 numbers. Were you adding positives or negatives? So therefore the answer is -10. So just these two numbers right here give me -10, right? Subtraction, same as adding the opposite, same signs, add -10, right? Drop this part that you didn't do straight down. What are you going to do? Okay, so erase both of these minus signs and put 1 plus, because subtraction is the same as adding the opposite. Okay, I did that. Same or different signs? So add or subtract. Therefore, the answer is, okay, when I walk a student through, I rarely have a student get it wrong. Even when Nathan says the wrong thing, and then the right thing, and then the wrong thing, and then he finally convinces himself that it's -9. I'm just saying, I have 100% success with students, right? The issue is that I won't be there, luckily talking inside your head, asking yourself this stuff. It's not that I have the magic. All I'm saying is just saying same or different signs. Kaylee, remember last year? How many times did I tell you this? Like, when she was trying to get her head wrapped around positive negatives, I would just simply say, does this mean same or different signs? And I would say add or subtract. That's all I ever say. I never say anything other than same or different signs, add or subtract. You guys know what to do, but that's got to be that internal dialogue that goes on in your head. Hey, what? Same or different signs? Add or subtract? Oh, it's subtract, big minus small. More positives, more negatives. I never give kids any more hints than that, and they get it right every time. So if all I'm saying is those 4 things, same or different signs, add or subtract. If it's subtract, it's big minus small. If it's add, just add the 2 numbers. And then I say, for subtraction, more negatives or more positives. Or for adding, I'm saying, were you adding positive or negatives? I say those 4 things, and that's it. Every single time kids get it right. So I guess what I'm trying to tell you is, that's what should be going on in your head when you do messy stuff like this. And this is messy. All right, for those of you that did it, there were the answers for box 10. All right, Anna wanted to look at the word problems. What page? 61. So here are your hints for the word problems. Which number did I give you? 16 on page what? That's not a word problem. 15 less.
No, I was confused because you put like a minus sign.
You do. How do you write 15 less? Okay, so there's 15 less, right? So if I take 15 away from, was it -13? Here's the problem. This is 15 fewer than -3. It is confusing, isn't it?
Wait, so then the top one says -6 decreased by.
What's decreased by? So -6 decreased by. Okay. All right, so we made her happy. Anybody else? Yes.
I'm having problems with this shit. It's a lot weirder.
So when you see decreased by, there's actually 3 numbers there.
Okay, wait. So the first one, I wrote it out as
Let me catch up. So 33 or 34.
34.
So -54.
Wait. I wrote it out as -54 minus.
That's okay. One step at a time. -54 decreased by
Yeah.
the difference of. Difference means add or subtract. Difference means add or subtract. 2 numbers. The first one goes here. The second one goes here. The difference between -37. That's a lot of negatives. And 15. Good Lord. That's messy.
Okay, see, I have it right.
All right, we got what? 4 minutes left? Rylan, you already done your homework?
No.
What number are you on?
6.
6?
I fell asleep.
36.
I did not get any week of sleep last night. I'm sorry. I was paying attention though. I will point myself up every single time to write down the stuff.
Rylan, if you can do
really bad at this.
A number that I'm going to call off in 10 seconds. You have no homework. You ready?
Wait, okay, wait.
You only got 10 seconds though.
Yeah, I'll count.
No, you can count quietly. You ready, Rylan? 27. Go.
Wait, the number or like the
The answer.
Oh, the
Nine.
answer is physically impossible to do in my
Well, if you're talking.
I can cross out the two that makes that positive. Yeah, I can't do that in 1 second.
It's just 21 minus 9.
Yeah, I can't do that in 1 second.
12.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I did it! Yeah!
I gave you the chance. All right. You may chit chat quietly amongst yourselves. Hey, why did you guys get in trouble yesterday?
Because he's a failure.
Oh, was that in trouble yesterday? From the chalk.
There is no creating crime scenes in the parking lot.
Wait! I was not a part of that.
Oh,
I withdraw. I withdraw. What?
All right, Sierra. We will catch you later. If you have any questions, send me an email.
I don't have any questions, so I think I'll be good. I already did the homework and sent it in because I made a mistake.
I know. You did 2 homeworks, if I remember right, already. See you, Sierra.
Bye.